Good morning, everyone. Nice to see you here today. It's such a joy to see each one of us here. It's being able to meditate together is, to me, the joy of Sunburst. And I want to acknowledge all of you who came out today. Appreciate you. And for everyone who's watching this online as it goes on as a recording at a later date, we acknowledge you and appreciate you too. And but for whatever reason, living far away, have to work on Sundays, feel more comfortable and safe at this time, being online. We're all here together to support each other in our spiritual journey. My name is Emily, and today's theme is developing your spiritual practice, which is kind of like an everyday theme in a way. When you're interested in spirit, it's kind of always going on. And but in January, a lot of us tend to think especially about what kind of habits we're having and what our routines are, and are they serving the purposes that we are really after, our deepest heart's desires really being served by our various habits and routines. So there's a lot you can read in all kinds of publications right now that have come out since January 1st about best ways to create new habits and or build on habits, things like that. There's a lot of research into that, and I'll share a couple of suggested applications of some of those. But before we get into that, I just wanted to bring up what might we be heading towards in our spiritual practice. What? It's one thing to have a practice and a routine and a habit, but what is our goal? So I love this quote from Norman Paulson. He's the founder of Sunburst and was very much into that we can all achieve illumination. It's not just for some people. So he said, remember, you are equipped atomically, molecularly, cellularly, right now at this very moment, to fully experience cosmic consciousness, divine illumination, oneness with God. How can you see it? Meditate on it. He used a lot of words there to talk about God and oneness with God and illumination, and just like to say it is something so vast and powerful and amazing that no words that anyone has ever found have been able to fully capture what this is that we're going for. The phrase that kept coming to my mind in thinking about talking today is Sat Chit Ananda, which is Sanskrit, translated as existence, consciousness, bliss, or truth, consciousness, bliss. And this is can be used as a description of the nature of the divine. You can say God, you could say Sat Chit Ananda, you could say Mother and Father Divine, you could say Spirit, you could say Source, because that same essence that is the nature of God is also the nature of ourselves. So when we talk about self-realization, we're talking about that pure self within us that is that same essence that is also the essence of the divine, whatever name you call these things. A favorite at Sunburst is I am that I am. And I think when I was growing up, I encountered that in the Old Testament, I am that I am. And I thought it sounded like a really great way to say, I'm beyond description. Just, I am that I am. Just, I'm beyond description. I just am. if God was naming God's self. And there's so many other layers too that I've come to think about over the past several years. At Sunburst, we acknowledge that God is not just masculine or feminine or neither. I am masculine, I am feminine, I am that which is in between or both. I am the wholeness. I am all of it. It's also the little I am of our individualized spirits having the same nature as the great I am. We are of the same substance. And the deal is our ability to function in physical form is that we started with an individualized sense of self and ego and self-consciousness, which completely clouds this awareness. So we have spiritual practice to help bring us back into the awareness of our true nature, our true self, our true being, our true consciousness, the true bliss that is our nature. The spiritual teacher known as sometimes as Amma or Mata Amritanandamayi Devi said, "Divinity is in you. Eternal beauty and divine fragrance are potent within you. But just like an unopened flower, your heart is closed right now, and because of this, you have not realized your true existence in consciousness. Through spiritual practice, the flower bud of your heart will eventually open up its petals, and you will realize your identity with supreme consciousness." So if you're here at a meditation gathering, you're probably already aware that Sunburst views meditation as a central practice in journeying to this awareness. We have been an organization for over 50 years, and group meditations especially have been a central practice of Sunburst. And Yogananda also emphasized, who was Norman Paulson's teacher, emphasized the importance of meditation as the core of your whole practice. So some of us here in the room, I know, have meditated for many years. And some of us in the room could be new to meditation, and some of us watching. So we're all in different places. So what can we learn? What can we talk about that would help all of us, whatever place we're at? Whether we're new to meditation, we have already a habit of meditation, but maybe it needs a little refreshing to deepen it even further and take us farther. So just to start out, if a daily meditation habit is new to you or has lapsed, some of the psychological research shows that if you want to bring a new habit into your life, start with something very simple. And if you can attach that new thing to an existing habit you already have, you're more likely to have success. So if your meditation habit at home has gone by the wayside or needs to be started up, that's what you'd like to do, try a very simple breath-focused meditation, 5 minutes, while you brew your coffee or brew your tea. Or last thing, maybe you get your PJs on, brush your teeth, brush your hair over the crown of your head, sit down right then for 5 minutes. Attach it to a habit. When I brush my hair at night, that's when I go to meditate. Or when I brew my coffee, that's when I go to meditate. And start with something really short so that you get it into your day. And then when you start to feel that it's part of your routine, grow it. 15 minutes, maybe you can change it. Maybe half an hour. But give yourself a success there. The other thing is, it's really great if you have things that can be supportive to you. If it's supportive to have some soft meditative music to get you in the mood right before you meditate, great, do it. Or if, like, I know we sell these meditation beads over in our little store, and I like to use them. Each bead is like an inhale and an exhale, then on to the next bead. It helps me stay with my breath better than if I don't use them. But one of the other things about creating a habit is to reduce the friction that is present that might push against you enacting that habit. So, you know, in the case of the beads, like, I can't find my beads anywhere. I'm just gonna have trouble meditating today. Forget it. Don't let that be a friction point. If you don't have your beads, you've got knuckles on your hand. 20 knuckles on each hand. You can count it with your fingers and your thumb touching each other. Move to the next knuckle with each breath. So you are equipped. We are all equipped. We can use these supports that people have so creatively and with such inspiration come up with. But let us remember that we are equipped to do this even without. So removing the friction and thinking of a nice time in your day that you can attach it to something you already do. And if you already meditate, but sometimes we go through like a dry spell, or where you just not feeling very much of the peace or bliss that you maybe have felt in the past or something while you're meditating. That's totally normal. It can come and go, but that might be a great time to put a little extra into something else to help support your practice. So you could start with your meditation with an intention. If you are not doing that, it is really, or a short prayer within you. This is one of the most powerful things for me. Asking for guidance. This vast, vast consciousness that holds the entire cosmos is also our nature. So everything that is a personal question for us, you know, what it is our service to do, or what is a good way to address an issue going on in our lives, or anything like that. All those details of our lives are known to that consciousness, as well as the vastness of the universe and the details of everything else in the universe. So you can get personalized answers at times, but just to open up for that guidance, open up and ask how we can best be of service, can be a big, powerful point. And there are also things we can do to prepare for meditation if we're finding ourselves kind of sleepy during meditation, or not going as deeply. Yogananda taught energization exercises, which help you to begin to notice your energy movement within your body. They're an excellent preparation for meditation. Yoga is like the body stretches. That part of yoga is an excellent preparation for meditation. Even something as simple as a few short, deep breathing or breath calming exercises could be really great right before meditation, or some light exercise to get more oxygenated. So this is sort of the practical part of the discussion. These are some practical ideas if you're finding yourself wanting to go a little deeper. And then there's sort of a dual direction you could go here. If you feel you are in just a habit, okay, well, I sit down for 20 minutes and I sit there and I meditate, but you're really just like thinking the whole time and thinking about your grocery list, and you're not really meditating, but you're committed to doing the 20 minutes. Maybe you want to focus on getting a real quality focus time, even if it's a little shorter, and then grow it back up again to 20 minutes when you get your focus time back in. Or you have a lovely half-an-hour meditation every day, but and it's lovely and deep, but you never go past half an hour. Maybe you want to try a longer one once a week. There's so many ways we can do this, and it's really, there's nothing that I'm saying here that you have to try. This is all just ideas for you to find. Maybe you'll even think of a different idea that is very personal to what will work for you. But think of what your real goal is. If you would like to merge your own consciousness with that Sat Chit Ananda, truth, consciousness, bliss, existence, consciousness, bliss, what small step can we embrace to help us get there? I want to read another quote for Yogananda, but Paramahansa Yogananda said, "Be adamant, strong, and unflinching in your determination to discover the one who is hiding behind this creation. Snatch yourself away from the demands of the world, and do not go to bed at night until you have consciously communed with God. The ordinary man with his everyday responsibilities can be just as busy as the President of the United States. Busy, busy, busy. That is life's demand. You have to reserve time each day to get away from the world and be with God. Control your life and set aside time to practice meditation for communion with God. Then everything in this world will be a wonder to you." Let us sit together to meditate a few minutes here. Find a seat that feels comfortable, that you'll be comfortable sitting. And let your gaze be softly through the forehead in a way, your third eye. Can let your gaze softly rest a few inches out in front of your forehead. You can use your finger to find that spot if you need. And then gently close or lower partway your eyelids. And just begin to notice your breath, cool air coming in your nostrils, warm air coming out your nostrils. You can even, if it helps you stay with your breath, you can even silently note inhaling, exhaling, or in, out. With each breath, we're giving our minds just enough to do that the soul can come forward. When we develop a deep focus, sometimes the focus on the breath or other technique naturally falls away, and we slip into a deep communion with consciousness, with the divine, with our pure self. That's really the goal of the technique, to take us to that communion state. One of the important things to consider in our practice is how we take that beauty felt within into the day-to-day living that we do. Some people like to take a few minutes after meditating to journal briefly. It's quiet. It's a quiet transition, and helps you remember too, when you go through a dry spell, what's really there during the uplifting spells. And sometimes we've been given work to do. I know for myself, sometimes I may have a question in my heart for Spirit about releasing worry or anger or something of concern, and other times I am given an indication by feeling, or just comes into my awareness, that I have some work to do because I can see my behavior from a greater perspective and realize there could have been some better choices made. So that's part of our spiritual practice too. Any of those things that come up in us as we meditate. The other thing we can do to help in our daily lives is keep the breath awareness. There are so many activities that we can do that we don't have to lose our connection with our breath during them. If we are listening to someone on the phone, we can still remember that we're breathing. We can feel our inhale and our exhale and feel Spirit with us while that's happening. If we're walking, we all have to walk places. If you walk from the car to the store, maybe you're even in a hurry, but maybe it's 5 hurried steps for your inhale and 5 hurried steps for your exhale. Or maybe you have the chance to walk more slowly through nature and you can take it slower. But keep your breath with you no matter what you're doing. It's here for us all the time. It's part of our being equipped right now. Last couple things I want to say today. One is a reminder, we have each other in this. We have group meditations here on site. If you're here in the room, you're at one, or if you're over in the lodge in the overflow. We have Zoom meditations every single weekday morning. You can join. If you have any questions how to make that work, you can contact our office. And that's why Sunburst is here, to support each other together in the journey to self-realization. And then a little thing that's kind of funny and kind of true. A friend once told me this years ago, and it took me a lot of time to really embrace its truth. It just seemed funny. But Martin Luther, he lived a long time ago and branched out from Catholicism, but he said he used to meditate. I guess he called it prayer, but it was probably more like meditation because it was for hours every day. He said, I have so much to do that I shall spend the first 3 hours in prayer. So, something to keep in mind when we're trying to find time for practice. Okay, well, hopefully all can enjoy some refreshments over at the lodge and connect. Thanks for being here.
Even now I hear the river of the day, daughter of the sky, singing as she plays. Even now I see the beauty light across the sky, fingers of the sunrise opening my eyes, and my soul is reaching branches up into the sky to feed. My life is but an echo in the temple of eternity. My love is like a great wind that is pressed between the stones. You'll not know where I come from, neither know where I'll be going. Even now I hear the silence, earth around the sun, mother of us all, oh son, a billion brothers one. Even now I hear the singing, angels of the Lord, sailing swiftly through the sky, a mighty ship with oars. And my soul is reaching branches up into the sky to feed. My life is but an echo in the temple of eternity. My love is like a great wind that is pressed between the stones. You'll not know where I come from, neither know where I'll be going. Even now I see the beauty light across the sky, fingers of the sunrise opening my eye. Even now I hear the wisdom from his heart, my home, a billion voices singing, silence from the throne. And my soul is reaching branches up into the sky to feed. My life is but an echo in the temple of eternity. My love is like a great wind that is pressed